Hello and good afternoon. This is another edition of our board meeting recaps. I'm Superintendent Anderson, and I'm excited to share with you recaps from our last two board meetings, actually. So we're going to do both of the board meetings from the month of May. So first off, we're going to start with the May 9th board meeting, and I'm just going to give a quick synopsis of things we covered. And of course, as always, all of this information is available on our district website through the board docs, and you can see all the relevant attachments and agendas from each of these meetings. So, May 9th, we were happy to start off by welcoming our student board member, who is Cody Syme, and she is a senior at Spring Creek High School, and we appreciated having her there as the voice of our students at that board meeting. Next, we were pleased to receive a presentation from the Carlin Combined Schools engineering students, and they shared with us some of the various projects they've been working on in their engineering class there at Carlin Combined School, and it was awesome to see their innovation and the way they're applying their learning that they've experienced this year out at Carlin Combined. We appreciated that presentation very much. Next up, we got to hear from some more students, and these are actually students from the Battleborn Youth Challenge Academy, which is also out in Carlin. So these students were state history contest winners, and in addition to hearing about how well they performed and did in that state history contest, we also got to hear some of their individual stories. For those who aren't familiar with Battleborn Youth Challenge Academy, it's actually kids from not just around the district or around the state, but we had kids from other states there, and some of those kids told their stories about how they ended up at that school, how that school has improved their lives. For some of them, it's kind of saved their life a little bit, and so it was really just a great opportunity to hear about the way our educators and our schools are having a positive impact on kids, even kids who may not be in Elko County for very long. While they're here, we're making a positive impact on them and making a difference, and so that was really great, and I appreciated so much hearing from their perspective. After we heard from those students, we then continued to listen to Battleborn Youth Challenge Academy as their director, Andre Ponder, gave a presentation requesting for the school board to move to approve for Battleborn Youth Challenge Academy to join the rest of the district as a 4-day school for the next upcoming school year and beyond, and that motion was made to approve that. So that was the last kind of holdout for next school year from a 4 or 5 day perspective. So moving forward into the 23-24 school year, 100% of our schools are officially going to be on a 4-day calendar, and so that was a pretty big kind of monumental thing to make our district a 4-day district. After that approval for 4-day, we then had kind of another big thing happen, and that was the official adoption of our math textbooks. For the last 6 months or so, we've been piloting various math textbook programs for grades K through 12. Thanks to the teachers who participated in those pilots, and we're on the committee to help make those decisions, and thanks to Paul Allen and Candace Turnahue, our elementary and secondary directors, for carrying out that process. And so the board did move to approve both of those kind of textbook adoptions for the elementary side and then for the secondary side, and we'll have new curriculum starting in the 23-24 school year. Teachers will get training starting now in the spring, and then some more in the fall before we get into the school year, and we will finally have some updated math textbooks for our classrooms. Those are worn out, fallen apart, overdue, and we're really excited to have that there as a resource for our students and for our teachers. Next up, we had the follow-up from an initial presentation of edits to JGD, a policy about transportation, and so the piece that was kind of really the main crux of what we were doing here was the board wanted to kind of separate there's mileage payments and there are subsistence payments for people who live outside of boundaries where buses can't get them because of financial feasibility. And so the language was kind of confusing, and initially we were looking at it too to see if we could maybe pay a little more since that rate has been the same for about 30 years, but that rate is set per NRS statute that we have that at that $10 a day. So that didn't change, but we did change language to separate mileage and subsistence and describe what both of them are and how that process is done in our district. And that was approved. The last kind of main action item for that meeting was I had to present my self-evaluation for the last school year, and so I gave myself a bunch of ratings on that self-evaluation form, and gave the board opportunity for questions. They reviewed it and took those ratings into consideration for their evaluation that they would do for me after that meeting. So that evaluation with all of my self ratings was uploaded onto the board docs, and it's there to be seen. And then after my self-evaluation, we then heard 2 quarterly updates, one from Mr. Cody Krenka, our Director of Human Resources, and I'm not going to go real detailed into what they talked about because they each went on for a good 10 to 15 minutes, but Mr. Krenka talked about the many efforts we're making from a human resources perspective to hire qualified candidates for our openings. There's just the different ways we're looking at doing that, be it from traditional methods like just having the job application on the website, going to college fairs, and then some more kind of innovative things and extra efforts to make sure we hire as many people as we can, but the right people, so that we have our schools in a good position for going into the next school year. We also heard a quarterly update from Dr. Kenneth Higbee, who is our Director of Special Services, and he gave a lot of updates on how they're doing, both from a staffing standpoint as well as just efforts they're making there in special education and in our Special Services Department. And kind of one big takeaway that I just want to share with everyone there is just a reminder that with special services and special education, same with actually English learners, the goal there with those programs is to provide supports, accommodations, to help our students be successful. But the ultimate goal is to help students have independence and to be able to be successful on their own. And so there's often a term that's used in that world, which is called the least restrictive environment. And it was kind of a recommitment to make sure we're always striving for that least restrictive environment where we're providing those accommodations, but we're not causing helplessness in students. We want to be able to make sure we are empowering them, whatever their abilities are, whatever their needs may be, we're empowering them to own their education, whatever that looks like. And so we always want to encourage the least restrictive environment and help students toward having independence and ownership of their education. So that's kind of an update from, or a recap from the May 9th meeting. Fast forward 14 days to, which would be a couple days ago from now, to May 23rd. And we started off that meeting by welcoming our student board member, who was Catherine Weiner from Elko High School. And that was actually her second student board appearance with us. And Catherine did such an awesome job. I'm not going to go into all the things she did, but she was very active in her questions, both about kind of student perspective things, but also just really getting into the nitty gritty about the budget and the other items we had on there. She was a fantastic student board member and really impressive. So thanks to Catherine for being with us again on the board. We had quite a bit of non-action items, where presentations, awards, that kind of thing. If you go back to last weekend, that wrapped up the spring sports season, and so on the 23rd we were able to do a recognition of all those spring sports athletes. I certainly can't list them all off here. There were dozens of kids who did well in track, and our baseball athletes, and there were some golf kids as well. And so just kind of the big highlights are that the Elko High School girls team finished first. They took first as a team in the state, and the Spring Creek High School boys track team took second, which was amazing. And then on top of those athletic accomplishments, the Spring Creek High School boys baseball team were the academic all-state champs. And so congratulations to all those teams. As I mentioned, we have students from almost every school, I think, that had individual accomplishments in track, but too many to list out here in this. But you can, if you go to the YouTube recording, we mention every student by name there in the meeting. The next presentation was pretty awesome, pretty touching. It was called the Sage Kindness Club. I think it was a club. Sage Kindness Club presentation. And they talked about these are kids with a couple of advisors and the principal who really their whole purpose of existence as an organization is to do nice things for their fellow peers and colleagues. And they talked about the snacks they gave out, the ice cream they had, the standing at the door to welcome people. It was just like a report on what they did to spread kindness and give smiles and help people feel loved and welcome at school. And they gave the board members and us at the table some treats to help us smile and little handwritten notes to thank us for the things we do for our school district. And I just couldn't think of a better reason to have an organization or a club at school than to help make people happy and show kindness to one another. And just super proud of all of those students and the staff that helped lead that group, and just kind of paving the way and showing us how we can be to one another. So thank you so much to Sage and those wonderful students for that effort. We were able to acknowledge Miss Jordan Montez, who is a teacher over at Elko High School, and she's also the student council advisor over there. And Jordan's name has popped up along with some students for their mental health awareness week they did a few months back, and because of those efforts there and just the many other wonderful things she does as a contributor to that campus, Jordan was recognized by the state as the Student Council Advisor of the Year, and there's just one of those. They don't do those by 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A. There's just one, and our very own Jordan Montez was that person. So we were able to acknowledge and congratulate her for just being an exemplary advisor for student council and leading those students in that way. We also received a presentation from Lelsey Stewart, who is our English learner coordinator here at the school district offices, and she had several teachers that went through and completed what's called the Be Glad program, which is a program to help teachers be more effective and successful in educating their English learner students, but it's not just limited to that. The skills they learn are beneficial to all the students they work with and teach, and it was just a great way of recognizing teachers that have gone above and beyond to be the best equipped they can be to help the students that they have in their classrooms with them. So congratulations to them for completing that. There were various teachers that received that recognition, and thanks to Lelsey for kind of rallying them in that direction and having them, encouraging them to go above and beyond, and we appreciate them. The next presentation we had, there were a lot of presentations. The next one was from Brandy Holbrook, who is with the Department of Child and Family Services, known as DCFS, and she gave us an update regarding kind of a very real perspective of the crisis for foster children in our state right now. There are very few foster homes available for students who find themselves in a need for a foster home, and her purpose in sharing that with us was because we have kids in our own community who, should they find themselves in that situation, might end up having to be removed from the community because of the lack of available homes right now for foster children. So it was a way of getting the word out. She's making those same presentations to other local entities, and just it was our pleasure to help her get that word out. And anyone who is able and willing and well suited to be a foster parent or have foster children in their home, you can reach out to the DCFS and to Brandy Holbrook to let them know about your willingness for that, and she can give you more information. The last non-action item was recognition of our April and May STARS Award recipients. As a reminder, STARS Award is an award for our educators. We give one award to a classified employee every month and one award to a certified employee every month out of over 1,100 employees. And so for the month of April, we actually had a duo at Elko High School who won the classified award, and those ladies are named Argelia and Fabiola. They're the front office kind of secretaries, receptionists for the school, and well known throughout the community and throughout that school. So they were the winners for April from the classified side. And then a kindergarten teacher up at Northside Elementary, Miss Gayla Farmer. She was the certified recipient for the month of April. And we read the nomination forms for them and the wonderful things that people had to say about them. For the month of May, Amy Romanos, who is a special education paraeducator at Spring Creek High School. She was a recipient for the classified employees for the month of May. And then Barbara Pete, who is a special education teacher out at the Owyhee Combined Schools, was the certified recipient for the month of May. So congratulations to all of those excellent educators for being nominated and qualifying for and doing things that get recognized to help our students and going above and beyond as well. After all of those many kind of recognitions and awards and presentations, we had 4 action items or 4 kind of items of business to talk about. The first one was the approval of our final budget. So every year by the end of May, we have to submit our final budget before going into the next school year. So that budget was presented along with all the relevant information about where we are in that. Just as a reminder, there's still a whole lot going on at the state with the legislative level for what our funding levels will look like for next year, and that will obviously have a big impact on what our budget will look like, but we made that budget based on the information we know, and any changes that have to be made to that we will make for the December augment is what it's called. So, but that budget was approved and it is submitted to the state. The next big item that was accomplished was the recognition of and establishment of a collective bargaining agreement for our Elko County School District Site Administrators Association. So they've never had a bargaining agreement before or an official contract for their association. So they will join ECTA and EXO as bargaining units for our school district moving forward. So that contract is now approved. We'll get those papers signed, and then that'll be found on our website just like the rest of our contracts can be found. The next item was the board conducted their evaluation of me, the superintendent. So if you'll remember from a few minutes ago, I did my self-evaluation 2 weeks prior. They took my scores. They went through and said their numbers for each of those categories and gave me feedback on things that they really appreciated that were going on, and also gave me feedback on areas I can continue to focus and improve and help our district move forward. And so I really appreciate the thoughtfulness that the board members put to giving me that specific feedback. It's always nice, as we know with any evaluation, it's nice to get specific feedback about how you can become the best version of yourself possible. And so and of course I appreciate their confidence in me. It was a rating that means I get to keep being superintendent, and I'm excited about that, and really appreciate their trust in me and the opportunity to continue to work with other district leadership and site leadership and with all the staff in our district moving forward. There's a lot of good things on the horizon, and I'm looking forward to being a part of that with everybody. And then the last item of business was a quarterly update from Cassie Stalkey, who is our grants coordinator. And Cassie gave a good just breakdown of where we are with grants right now. There is no like grant season, there's just grants ongoing all the time. Kind of the big highlight from her presentation was the efforts and the progress we're making regarding school safety updates and improvements. And so we've got a good plan there with the help of Nevada Gold Mines and what we're doing as far as school updates for cameras and telecommunications and digital entries. There's more that we want to do, and so we're still expanding our search for more grant funding to make sure we can have all the safety measures in place that we ought to have, both as staff and as students, so that we can go about our day at school knowing that we're as safe as we can be and as prepared as we can be for any situation. And that is the update. Thank you so much for caring enough to listen and watch and be involved. Again, just another reminder that you can watch these meetings in their entirety from our district's YouTube channel where these videos are posted. And then you can also find all of the relevant agendas, attachments, and information from each of the board meetings on our board docs. where you can find a whole lot more than that too with policies and whatnot. So thank you so much for listening. Have a great day.